What's up, everybody? It's your boy GQ, and I'm joined today with Boulevard as usual. Today, we're going to talk about our team because we cannot go a week without talking about the wonderful Philadelphia Eagles. And off a bye week, they're playing the Cleveland Browns. I don't really have the details whether or not it's home or away. I didn't care. It doesn't matter, really. Anyway, today we're going to discuss some of the issues in Philadelphia. And the topic that's going to be the headliner is the question: could Nick Siriani be fired if the team fails to win against the Browns? Now, why is this so important?
Oh, I thought when you said problem, you meant SEPTA. It's like that.
SEPTA?
The new stadium in Philly. Okay, yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. Now,
I don't think that's...
Yeah. That's a topic that'll have to get discussed eventually. But the reason why the Browns, this game in particular, is so important because the Eagles will have and basically almost 99% healthy. They'll have all their starters in for the most part. So where it falls down is if the Eagles fail to win this game, if they lose to the Browns, would this be the right move to fire Nick Siriani, especially when you consider that the Jets fired Nick Robert Saleh, and I would honestly say Kevin Stefanski's next. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think if they lose, would this be the right time to let Nick Siriani go?
Ha!
I don't know why that happened.
That was some egregious errors on our editor's part. That's about 6 lashings with the cane. But that's no firing. That's just the cane. It was a minor error, just a few lashes. All right. So what was the question?
Yeah. So would you consider that Nick Siriani could be fired if they fail to win against the Browns this week?
Speaking of people who deserve some self-flagellation, I mean, this man should be whipping himself in the back for the terrible ass job he's done. I would say, yeah. So what was it, week 6? Yeah, that might be a little early. But I mean, if we want to say this, some changes are going to have to be made if they lose. Put it that way.
Yes.
Because this team came in with expectations, and he's one of the people holding this team back. He can't let go of control. He hired a guy with experience calling plays at a moderately high level, and he refuses to let the man do his job. Mm-hmm. He had a guy in there last year calling his plays, and he wouldn't let that man do his job. Okay, so either he's terrible at hiring or he has a problem with delegating control. Like he can't let go of it. And considering he's not good at calling plays, as he's shown, I'm sure 95% of the city of Philadelphia would agree he's not that good at calling plays, being nice. He probably should let go of control there. He should probably just make peace with it. Accept your flaws. It's kind of a thing when you're growing up into a better person. You got to accept your flaws and acknowledge them. That's called delegating. That's why you bring those people in. It's good. It's part of being a good coach. But he's not really being a good coach at the moment. The changes, I mean, sure, offensively, you can blame injuries. You can say Jalen Hurts this, Jalen Hurts that. But he's the leader. He's the coach. I mean, he's not doing his job. Hurts comes out every week, says the same thing. I got to be better. But we've been hearing that for a good, say, 15 weeks of football at this point. He's not. He's just saying it. It's just repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's the play calling. I don't know how much is on Hurts. I don't know. At this point, I don't know how much is on Fangio, because Fangio is basically handed the same defense from last year minus a few players. They didn't get a lot of upgrades. The jury's still out on this year's rookies. I mean, Mitchell's great so far.
Yes.
Plenty impressive. And DeJohn's coming in this week to replace who is it? Is it
Avonte Maddox?
Yeah, Maddox. So, I mean, now we're going to see basically what they're at full strength. So, I'd say more or less Fangio's job should probably be on the line, because just on the fact that his scheme isn't a good fit for what the Eagles need to do, for what they're built to do.
He came in here and decided that he wanted to run a 3-4 defense and not rush.
Right. I mean, that's his tendencies. His tendencies are not their blitz. Like, I don't understand how, that whole, what do you call it, bend but don't break. That's weak to me. You're not on the attack. You're literally on the defensive.
Yeah.
You're trying to counterplay. No, you should be attacking and destroying as a defense, not waiting patiently for them to come back from the bar to get in bed with you.
Yeah.
You should be at the bar punching the dude in the face. That's what you should be doing. That's what the defense should be doing. This is just something that popped in my head, some scenario. It has no impact on my life. She's in the bedroom sleeping. And we don't even drink. But, like, this dude, I don't think there's really a choice in the matter. He's not holding up his end.
Exactly. He's not.
But at the same time, Fangio's not either.
Yeah, he's not. He's not adapting in terms of like a big problem.
Yes, that's a problem. He's not adapting to the strengths of what he does have. He's still trying to force his, square peg into round hole, and it's not working. It would look good one game, but that's because the two Georgia linemen finally got a fire under their asses and actually looked like something. But it doesn't seem you can really expect that high level play every week.
Right.
But it does show that there's something there. You can't really say that about a lot of pieces, though. And that has been the same case over a few weeks going back to last year. This is the way the defense looks isn't a surprise. What's a surprise to me is that Fangio hasn't come in and improved it. Like, it hasn't improved it. It seems like it's actually gone backwards. It's regressed. I mean, how many really bright spots can you see? Bond, who came in on a 1-year deal. The expectations wasn't even that high for him. Mitchell's a rookie. I mean, Slay. There's been some drop off with Slay.
Yes.
So, I mean, what you're not really seeing is enough improvement at the places that needed to be improved.
That's big.
Like, we need a pass rush, and we're not getting a pass rush. Pass rush helps the secondary. Secondary helps the pass rush. That's just the way the game works. As a veteran defensive coordinator, Fangio should be on top of that and trying to find ways to do something to get a spark going with this line, with these linebackers, to get some type of attack, because just sitting back waiting is clearly not working. It's just not. Relying on what? Consistently 3 down backers?
Right.
3 down linemen. If you're not blitzing, you're relying on 3 down linemen against 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That's not coherent. That's not logical.
And not sending those edge rushers. Like
right.
It's almost shameful to have a guy two guys like Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham opposite each other, and they're not doing what their like bread and butter is. Like their bread and butter is to go after the quarterback, chase the quarterback down, pin their ears back and let them go. And they're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that. They're standing around playing delay, and I don't see how that can work effectively in a 3-4 system. So that's all my thoughts on that. It's just the lack of adapting. It's like you came in with a whole idea, and I get it. I get it that your experience as a coach when you're coaching defense is like I coach 3-4, I coach 3-4, I coach 3-4. But Sean
There has been
Desai,
some use of 5, but it's not a good 5. But
yeah,
it's still not a good. It's not a good line.
it's
Their
not.
rushers are not good.
Yeah, it's not. And the thing is, like when you say they that Fangio's used to this 3-4 system, he's not willing to change it. But you've seen the same thing with Sean Desai. Sean Desai was a defensive coordinator that coached a 3-4 defense, but he didn't force the Eagles to do a 3-4 defense.
Right.
Matt Patricia is the
Why
same. When Matt Patricia was calling defensive plays, he didn't switch the system to a 3-4. He did the. I mean, they did a horrible job, but they adapted at least. He took the players that they had and he worked with what he had. Vic
Right.
Fangio's not doing that, and that's a big problem. Like people don't know how to adapt their system because that's the only thing that they know how to do, and they stick to that. And that's going to be the Eagles will die by the fact that they can't rush the passer. Like that'll be the reason why the Eagles don't make it back to the Super Bowl because they can't put pressure on these
Super
quarterbacks.
Bowl. Hmm.
Playoffs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean Super Bowl, say championship game, maybe out their first playoff game. Is at this point they're still okay condition. The sky hasn't fallen yet.
The
But
sky hasn't
it
fallen
makes
yet.
us nervous as fans. And maybe it's just because we're Eagles fans and by nature, every little thing that goes wrong is a disaster. And maybe we're just panicking, but that's what this week is for. Put it that way. That's why we're sitting here talking about this.
Yeah. I think the problem is for the team where the problem is with the Eagles is that the Eagles aren't playing Eagle football. They're not playing like the Philadelphia Eagles. They're playing like the Commanders. And you know who are playing like the Eagles? The Commanders are playing like the Eagles. And
I love football season.
And and this hasn't been a concern for us for the past few years because it was either Dallas or it was the Eagles. Dallas or Eagles. And it was like those are the two teams that have been competing. Now it's not because now you actually have to pay attention to the Commanders. Now you actually have to acknowledge that the Commanders are a good team, and you can't just assume that the Eagles are shoe into the playoffs.
And who helps? Who's helping over there?
Former Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson,
who was discarded and took the blame last season for this man here's fuck ups.
And they'll probably do the same with Kellen Moore if they don't fire Sirianni. If the Eagles can't win this game effectively, he should be fired. Because if you fire Robert Saleh, you got to fire Sirianni. Even though Sirianni's been
Robert Saleh's been far worse of a coach. At least Sirianni's had success.
But I think it's just like
on his own merit, Sirianni, his seat should be like melting from being so damn hot.
His seat is definitely hot. Yeah. It's hot as hell.
Like he can't even comfortably sit there. It's just like he got the roids that need the preparation H.
And what's painful to me is because it's gonna tie into the next person we're gonna discuss. It's like Sirianni's seat is hot, but it's not like he's gonna get up from it. And just like his seat is hot, should be hot, and has been hot for a little while now. It's just like he's been able to find a way to find a cup of ice and pour it on his seat by getting into the playoffs. Even though they're not getting anywhere in the playoffs, he's getting in there. So we're kind of like, okay, it's fine. We're over it. We'll let it slide. But here we are, Louis, looking at his seat being hot. Howie Roseman's seat's been hot for a little while now too. And one of the big issues with Howie is getting, yes, he has drafted some very good picks. However, he's not drafting the pieces that we need and not adding depth to those positions that we need. Like you're not drafting solid depth, you're not going out signing solid depth. And we're suffering. We saw that suffering when AJ and Devontae went down. There is no wide receiver 3 anywhere. Like we had no idea who we're supposed to throw the ball to because none of those guys came up. It was a Dallas Goedert show, and that was crazy. That Dallas Goedert has to come out there and put 160 yards up. I said 160, 170 yards for the team to be in the game. That's crazy to me because there should never be a situation where you're like, oh, I got to completely disregard my receivers and put all my passes at my tight end. Like the fact that the wide receiver position has been a weak spot for Philadelphia as far back as Nelson Aguilar. Yes, I just said that Nelson Aguilar has been the best slot receiver that the Eagles have had in a long time. Like it hurts me that I'm saying that.
I never realized I made a puke sound effect.
But yeah, they haven't had a solid wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 in a very long time. And the fact that they're not getting any closer to figuring it out. So I blame Howie. Also, the linebacker position. We haven't had a sustainable linebacking core of people that have like actually spent time starting in the position longer than a year. Nobody's started more than a year. I don't remember the last time we had a linebacker that's been there both years. Like more than 1 year. It's like every year you have a guy, he's going. Have a guy, he's going. Have a guy, going. Like
Howie doesn't put that much into linebacker.
And that's a problem.
Like, at all.
It's a problem. And I feel as though if you can't do it, delegate it. Find somebody that does. So yeah, that's an issue that I think that I don't know if it falls on Sirianni or falls on his firing, but it's not going to fall on Howie. So somebody's going to have to take the blame for that. Not sure why the editor keeps hitting that in there. You got to stop it, guy.
Yeah, we got to double up. That's nine lashes.
He keep hitting that. Dude, stop.
Yeah. It's a new guy. It's not the usual guy. It's a new guy.
Yeah.
Testing it out. It's they all going back to school and whatnot, so they need the extra funds. So we got an intern for now.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick break so we can talk to the intern. This is like a couple 5 seconds.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. I'm glad we got that situated. Yeah. So, Howie Roseman not getting the right pieces in. That's basically what we were discussing. We already talked about Sirianni's play calling being a problem. Like, is he calling the plays? Is he not? And there's like we've seen the evidence of like I believe it was week 2 or week 3 when they I don't remember. But there's like a huge discrepancy of like differences where 1 week you see the success of those motions that they're running, the motions, and then the next week none. So is it like, are they trading off? Like you call plays this week, you call plays. That's not sustainable for a winning team ever. Like that's semi-pro bullshit. And I'll tell you that from experience, it's semi-pro nonsense where the same person that was calling plays last week is not calling plays this week. Insane to me. You might
that's personal. What he's talking about, that's personal.
Yeah. So that's annoying. They need to not do that. And this is professional football. We cannot have somebody whose ego, like, what are you trying to prove? And this is my question to Nick Sirianni. Why is it you're the head coach? That means you don't have to prove shit to anybody. You don't have to come out there and shine for nobody. You're the head coach. You like, there's no place else for you at this right now. There's no higher position than what you are, because you're not a GM. You're not going to get it. You're not going to become a GM. Plain and simple. It's going to be very hard for Nick Sirianni to make that step. And if he were to make that step to the next level, it's not calling plays that's going to get him there. So, Nick Sirianni, here's my question to you. Why is it that you're so hell-bent on having control and calling plays when you have someone who can call plays very well? Why is it that you need to have that control when you're the head coach? You're the head coach. You don't need the control.
Wasn't he supposed to be a CEO this year? Sorry,
yes, he's supposed to be. So delegate. Let them do what they have to do and reap the rewards that way. You don't have to be the guy calling the plays. You don't have to be the one up there like, oh, yeah, that was my call. That was my call. Oh, my call. No, we don't need to hear that shit. Like, we don't need that. Like, and I don't know, like, we're Philly fans, of course. You could tell. Look at all the green. But there's a cartoon that comes on Fox. It's called Universal Basic Guys. Been watching it, and it's the guy, the star of the show, I believe his name's Mark, and he's a complete asshole, egotistical douchebag. And who I told you the other day who he reminds me of. I said I'm pretty sure somebody saw Nick Sirianni in an Eagles uniform and was like, "Yep, we're gonna make a cartoon about Nick Sirianni," and that's what I get from the guy from the cartoon. Nick Sirianni is Mark from Universal Basic Guys. Like, dude, you don't have to do all this nonsense. Just sit back, relax, and let it flow. Let Kellen Moore do his job. Let Vic do his job. Like, enough is enough. Just be a head coach. Because if you don't let yourself be a head coach and let him be an offensive coordinator, guess what? Fangio's going to get fired. Kellen's going to get fired. Guess what? So are you. Because Howie's not going anywhere. Like, they tried that already. They tried replacing Howie. It didn't work. They're not going to let Howie go. It's not happening. Howie will probably be the president at the Eagles before he leaves the Eagles. And like he'll probably die the Eagles GM. He'll step down as the Eagles GM and take a ownership stake of the team before he loses his job. Nick Sirianni, you have to do better. Allow your coaches to do coach shit. Because if you don't let coaches do coach shit and you be fucking leader of men, you fucking just be like, listen, guys, coach, this is what I want to see. I want to have this type of idea. And let them fucking run the game. You don't have to do that shit. You just sit back and just fucking Nick Sirianni, this is what you need to do. You need to be here with your headphones on. Don't have your mic in here. Have it up. Just have it up here. You don't need to say anything. Just have it up here because you already had your game plan meeting. You already told Kellen what you wanted him to do. You don't need to say anything. Let Kellen do his thing. It's not like you're going up to Vic and being like, Vic, I want you to blitz on this play. I want you to do a lot of zone and prevent defense on this play. You're not doing that to Vic, so now you got to do it to Kellen because you were a crappy receiver before, because you were a shitty receiver in college.
Kellen Moore,
come in here and tell. Listen,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I gotta be a dick about it because I don't think that him not being a great receiver translates to him as a coach. But what I'm saying is, it's like Kellen's made it to the NFL level, so I would assume that he knows how to coach on the NFL level. He's played against players at that level. You haven't, Nick. That's just me being as respectful as possible.
Nick Sirianni was a wide receiver.
Yeah, he was a receiver.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
but
can't see it.
like Kellen's played football at this level. He wasn't that good, but he played. So I would think that he knows what the fuck he's talking about over a guy who's never played at this level. So, and it's not me critiquing Nick Siriani as like saying that he's a bad coach because he wasn't a good player. And I have to understand that I can't keep assuming because Ryan Poles was a bad all O lineman that he's going to be a bad GM. Ryan Poles is a bad GM because he's a bad GM. He took the Chicago
Ryan Poles.
like you took the Chicago Bears job. That's enough for me to think that you're a bad GM. You took that job. But that's for a different situation on a different day. Nick, let Kellen cook. Let him cook. And then next season, if you still have a job here, get Jalen a quarterbacks coach that actually knows how to coach quarterbacks. Because I don't even know the guy that did this. I was a little excited because he was a former Chargers guy, but Herbert hasn't really developed. Herbert's not that good. Like I haven't even heard Herbert's name this year. I don't even know if he's healthy.
It's just the way the offense is working over there.
Yeah, they're running the ball. So I say let Kellen do what Kellen does and back off. That's what my thoughts are to Nick Sirianni.
All right, I think it's fair to say this is the crowd and myself's response to your rant.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
So, guys, I'm hoping that all you Philadelphia fans are going to be watching this next game because it's going to be important. It's not necessarily Super Bowl important, but you understand that there's a lot riding on this game.
Everything's on the line here.
Like, we can't lose to the Cleveland Browns. And the fact that I'm even saying this is crazy to me because, you know, you look at the Browns. The Browns are trash, like garbage.
Like on the Browns, there's talent there. I mean, realistically, I feel like if they wasn't playing each other this week, I would hope that Howie was making a call over there. I know Boy's expensive, but I mean, this can't
Amari
be.
Cooper?
No, not yeah, but I was thinking Myles Garrett because I mean, he deserves better.
He would
Amari Cooper feel like he walked into that situation, so
he would immediately change the defense.
Yes, he fits what we need. Completely.
He immediately moves Milton Williams out to the side.
I know it's wishful thinking, but that would get Howie. I mean, that would save his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not it brought us to the promised land or not, that would save his job.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just to get us into the top half of the defenses in the league. That would probably be enough to save Howie's job. Because the defense is going to be a problem. Depth on offense is going to be a problem. Obviously on the defense too, but
in the draft, they got to go receiver. I feel like this draft, Eagles have to go receiver.
And Amari Cooper. I mean, this is the point where you start looking at who's going to be popping up.
Yeah.
Because players are going to become available.
Yeah.
So
deadline's in 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks left to the deadline.
I'm assuming we're doing a special episode on that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all got that to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm sure still trying to figure out maybe if we can go live. Because we'll probably be sitting here watching that trade.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll probably check my schedule and my Dictionary and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll probably we'll probably get like the first few trades that are hit right at the deadline. We'll cover. We'll do like we'll figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll figure that out, the logistics of it. But it'll be something fun for everybody to tune into. just figure out the trade deadline, because the trade deadline's like free agency a little bit. It's like exciting to see those picks come up, and it's exciting for us to get to use our ticker. Because lately all
I mean, it'll be a disappointment. It usually isn't. The big news. There's not always big news.
Well, here's the news. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the Eagles trade Bryce Huff away, because they're not.
He has no value.
If you package him the right way, you could probably somebody will take him off our hands if we package him the right way.
If you say so, I don't see it.
Yeah, because I feel like if we talk enough, I feel like if we say it enough, we can make it seem like Huff's not the problem and Fangio's, and make it seem like Fangio's the problem. Even though I know
where he belongs, because Eagles have a lame duck coach, kind of system that would have a dumbass pickup like Bryce Huff on the roster. He's where he belongs. Eating at the cat, wasting time. There's still hope, but he was always at best a rotational fucking pass rusher anyway.
And they're not even doing that. It's so bad.
No.
All right. Outside of that, do you have any additional stories or stats or numbers that you?
I have stats. I have stats.
There you go. Boulevard's got stats.
Boulevard likes numbers or something. All right. The Eagles have turned the ball over on 17.5% of their drives, ahead of only the Titans at 18.8%. Philadelphia is the only remaining team that has yet to score on a first quarter possession. They're 0 for 10. 47.5% of Philadelphia's possessions have reached the red zone, or scored a touchdown before they reach the red zone, which is fourth in the league. 46.3% of the possessions against the Eagles have reached the red zone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, 46.3% of the possessions against the Eagles have reached the red zone or scored a touchdown prior. That's 30th in the league. 15.3% of Cleveland possessions have reached the red zone or scored a touchdown prior. The lowest rate in the league. That's what happens when Deshaun Watson is your quarterback. Speaking of quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is going to get blitzed. Let's all make peace with that. He can't handle it. He has been pressured on at least 40% of his dropbacks in every game this season. In week 4, he was pressured 56.8% of his dropbacks. Just wanted to point that out because Johnson wasn't there. Under pressure, he's 31st in the league with 3.6 yards per pass attempt, ahead of only the guy with the Hello Kitty phone case, Caleb Williams. Now, from a clean pocket, he averages 9.1 yards per pass attempt. I feel like I throw this stat out every week because, he can't handle pressure. The Browns are third in pressure rate. As you just said, Hurts can't handle pressure. So,
yeah,
I guess there's your stats. I could tell you Hurts averages 9.5 yards per attempt against man coverage. Cleveland has allowed 13.4 yards per scramble. Shout out to Sharp Football Analysis for this information. Now, on the other side, Deshaun Watson, dead last, 4.8 yards per pass attempt. He's been sacked on 12.9% of his dropbacks and a league-high 24.1% of blitzes. So, logic dictates that Vic Fangio blitzes. The Browns are 30th in drop passes, which kind of attests to Watson's percentage, but maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so there you go. There's your stats.
Well, that's exciting.
Was it now? Some people don't like talking about stats. You're like, oh, that's boring. You're doing math.
Oh, they're droopy. I'm so happy.
You know what I'm not doing?
No.
Wish I was, but I'm already fat. Mukbang. Mukbang. I came across this shit. It's just people eating a lot of food.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
Yes. I
It's
follow Nick Avocado. He's a mukbanger who's like gained a lot of weight, lost a lot of weight, gained a lot of weight, lost a lot of weight. And
well,
he
that's not
basically
healthy.
and he trolls everybody about it. It's very humorous but disgusting at the same time. But
I just discovered it and I'm disgusted. I'm more
I
than
think you
this.
should watch Nikocado Avocado.
Mm,
He's like a very flamboyant mukbanger. I think that's the right term.
as a chef, it just disgusts me.
I
I mean, as a motherfucker that like to eat, I'm jealous. But
oh, he's got the beatus. He's got the beatus.
yeah, me too. So that's why I can't do what they do. But also, nobody want to watch me eat. I'm like like the Simpsons or the Flintstones or some shit when I'm eating. Nobody want to see that. That's NSFW for real. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because I discovered this shit and I had to talk to somebody about it. So I wasn't sure if I was dreaming.
Oh no,
So
it's a thing.
it's
I learned
that's
of it from your
horrible.
sister.
Ah,
She told me
she's
about
really
it.
weird herself, and she's
Yeah.
probably likes to eat as much as they do,
Yes.
and I can respect that.
Well,
I
well,
can
ladies and
absolutely
gentlemen,
respect that.
that's all we have for now. Me and Boulevard are going to go back to the
Young
meeting.
Noon Bang Song.
We're gonna yell at
Hope I
our
said that right.
we're gonna yell at our intern. After we yell at our intern, we're gonna discuss plans for Donut and
Intern might be
donuts.
forced to eat dog food
Oh, that's too bad.
because I don't have a dog, but I have dog food. So,
That's disgusting.
Mhm.
But that's okay because
like this,
you
if
know,
you want him to eat dog, if you want the intern to eat dog food, like it if you don't, but like it.
well, let us know, ladies and gentlemen. And I leave you with this. If you suck, you might have a place here.
What?
If you're good, you might have a place here. It doesn't really matter because the truth is this. We're not all the best. We cannot all be starters. But there's one thing that our good friend Boulevard knows better than anybody else on the planet. And that is
I'm really good at eating turkey legs. No, hit the bench.
oh, okay.